Okay, so moving forward in this AUC section 220 that's describing the role of the engagement partner for quality of audits, we'll get down to the relevant ethical requirements. And this discussion will be about AUC sections 220.11 through 13. So we see the first requirement is that throughout the audit engagement, the engagement partner and other members of the engagement team should remain alert for evidence of noncompliance with relevant ethical requirements by members of the engagement team, and that if matters come to the engagement partner's attention through the firm's system of quality control or otherwise that indicate that the members of the engagement team have not complied with relevant ethical requirements, then the engagement partner should determine that appropriate action has been taken. So what are these specific ethical requirements that the engagement partner is supposed to monitor? Now, the ethical requirements have been discussed in more detail in an earlier video, and that was in AUC section 200.16. So you should go back to that video to understand the specific ethical requirements, but they have provided in paragraph A4 a list of the ethical topics. So let's go down to that section now. So here we have the relevant ethical requirements down at AUC section 220.A4, and it says that the AICPA Code of Professional Conduct establishes the principles of professional ethics, and those include the requirement that we fulfill our responsibilities, that we act in public interest, that we act with integrity, that we have objectivity and independence, and that we act with due care. As I said, these are explained in more detail at AUC section 200.16. So if you're interested in learning more about these, then go to that video. But let's go back up to the requirement on independence. Okay, so now we're back at AUC sections 220.11 through 13. And before we get started on independence, let's understand that these sections aren't just regurgitating what we already learned in section 200. These are narrowing in on the engagement partner's responsibilities as it relates to ethical and independence requirements. So in AUC sections 200, we just understood that the firm should act with ethics and be independent. But now we're saying in this section that, hey, these requirements rest on the engagement partner's shoulders, and he has a responsibility to make sure that these items are complied with. And he should remain alert to make sure that they are. And if he comes across a situation where we aren't acting ethically, then he should take the appropriate action to correct it. Now let's continue on with independence. These independence requirements are discussed in more detail at AUC section 200.15. So if you want to learn more about how to comply with independence standards, you can go to that particular video. But for here, we want to understand how can the engagement partner ensure that the firm's independence standards are followed. And so what he needs to do is obtain relevant information from the firm to identify and evaluate circumstances and relationships that create threats to independence. And he should also evaluate information on identified breaches to independence that create a threat to the audit engagement's independence. And then if he does identify something like that, a threat to independence, then he needs to take appropriate action to either eliminate that threat or to reduce it to an acceptable level. And if he's not able to reduce the threat, then he needs to withdraw from the engagement entirely. And so the engagement partner should promptly report these circumstances to the firm so that they can take the appropriate action.